Hey everyone, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack a beautifully poignant piece of writing called The Strawberry Harvest of Fleeting Summers. Now, on the surface, this might just look like a sweet story about a simple summer trip to a farm. But as we really get into it, it actually reveals some incredibly deep psychological truths about parenting, the passage of time, and how we mentally process our families moving into entirely new chapters. We're talking about that universal tug of war in our minds as our kids grow up and the mental health journey parents go on when they realize, wow, things are profoundly changing. To kind of set the tone for this whole journey, listen to this haiku. Green rose, red berries, summer warmth beneath blue skies, memories linger. Beautiful, right? This incredibly grounded poem was written by Adam. Adam's a laboratory analyst, a father, and a grassroots football coach, and he actually uses writing haikus as a creative, mindful outlet for his mental health. He uses poetry to capture those small, fleeting moments that we might otherwise just let slip right by us. And this specific haiku serves as the absolute perfect emotional anchor for the story we're exploring today. A story that starts with a seemingly perfect, entirely ordinary family plan. Okay, so the stage is set for a quintessential summer memory. Adam's wife, Jill, planned this family activity right in the middle of the summer school holidays. They were heading out to Brocksbushes farm for a strawberry picking, perfectly timed right near the end of the strawberry harvest season. I want you to think about the sensory details of a day like this. The weather was absolute perfection. Hot, sunny, with just a few soft clouds drifting across literally an endless blanket of blue sky. You know, the kind of day where the air just feels warm and inviting. So they packed their field boots into the car, totally ready for a relaxed, stress-free mid-morning of family bonding. But, well, even as they arrived at the farm, they noticed things were already subtly shifting. And this is where we really see the passage of time illustrated, not just for the farm itself, but for the family. They remembered a previous trip to this exact same spot for pumpkin picking back when the kids were much younger. But today, stepping out of the car, the farm has evolved. They've added a massive new farm shop and a bustling cafe. More importantly, though, outside the entrance to the strawberry fields, there were some small, childish attractions that Adam's daughter, Grace, now firmly felt she was way too old for. It's a really subtle detail, right? Almost easy to miss, but it perfectly foreshadows the overarching theme we are dealing with today, the inevitable reality of our children growing up and simply outgrowing the things they used to love. But, despite that little reminder of time passing, the morning itself was incredibly joyful. Once they confirmed their booking and grabbed their little cardboard boxes, they walked through the fields and up the hill. The mood was just wonderfully light. It was filled with laughter as they walked past the growing pumpkins, with Grace already scheming to come back for Halloween so she could carve the absolute biggest one. They were completely immersed in the mindful joy of the hunt, absolutely determined to find the best, reddest strawberries in the whole field. Grace was running back and forth while Adam and Jill helped, calling out to her, "We found a good one, Grace. Come and pick it." It was relaxed, it was entirely stress-free, and it was exactly the kind of pure, joyful family bonding time that parents constantly dream of. But right in the middle of all that joy, a sudden realization hit. The picture-perfect family outing was missing a piece. The only issue? Max wasn't with them. Up until this exact moment, Adam was completely 100% present in the joy of the strawberry field. But then, the absence just becomes loud. Their teenage son wasn't there. And guys, this isn't just about a simple scheduling conflict or a kid sleeping in. It represents a major, undeniable milestone in the family's timeline. It really is the beginning of a very different era. So the crucial point here is understanding exactly why Max isn't there and what that realization means for Adam as a father. Max is a teenager now. His priorities have naturally and inevitably shifted. He prefers being out with his friends or spending his weekends with his girlfriend. As Adam notes, he is officially well past the stage of these little family activities. And man, that is a jarring shift to process. Going from full, four-person family outings where everyone is present to suddenly being a trio because your child is building their own separate life, it forces a parent to confront the changing landscape of their family dynamic head-on, and let's be honest, that is not an easy transition to make. And that brings us to this incredibly candid admission from Adam, which is just so deeply central to the mental health aspect of parenting. He says, it's a difficult thing to admit when you see your children growing and becoming independent. This isn't just a fleeting thought, it's a heavy, complex psychological reality. Watching your children move into a new chapter requires parents to process a very unique kind of grief, the quiet loss of the old family dynamic. You're fiercely proud of them? Yes, absolutely. But acknowledging that they're stepping out of that safe childhood bubble and out into their own independence, it is emotionally complicated. It requires a profound mental and emotional adjustment that we honestly rarely talk about out loud. Which leads us directly to the core of this entire experience, the parenting paradox. Think about it. On one hand, we spend literally all of our time, our energy, and our love nurturing our kids to become fiercely independent individuals. We literally teach them to walk away from us. That's the biological and societal goal of parenting, right? But the psychological friction is that we deeply, secretly want them to still need us, to still want to spend that full family time with us, picking strawberries on a sunny morning. It's a beautifully painful contradiction. We dedicate our entire lives to preparing them to fly away, but our hearts ache when they finally start packing their bags. Processing this paradox is just a massive, ongoing part of a parent's mental health journey. And standing right there in the strawberry field, noticing Max's absence, this staggering realization washed over Adam. We get very few summers, Christmases, and fun trips out as a whole family unit. When your kids are little, the summers feel beautifully endless, right? The holiday traditions feel entirely permanent. But the mathematical reality is that the time spent together as a complete, undivided family unit is actually incredibly finite. The window of childhood closes much, much faster than any of us expect. So the big question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we process our children growing up? When we're faced with the anxiety and that bittersweet sadness of our family moving into a brand new chapter, how do we handle it mentally? If we spend all our time lamenting the loss of the old family dynamic, we risk entirely missing the sheer beauty of the present moment. We have to find a way to mindfully accept their growing independence while still deeply anchoring ourselves in the joy of the family we have right now, right in front of us. Adam's conclusion actually gives us the answer to that question. He realizes that we have to view every single one of these outings as a brief moment in time that we will never get back. The way you process the changing family dynamic is by fiercely cherishing the moments you actually do have. You don't take the mid-morning strawberry picking for granted. You realize that even the incredibly small things, like helping your daughter hunt for the biggest strawberry in the row, matter deeply. You process the passing of time by becoming radically, unapologetically present in the time that remains. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final thought. The end of the strawberry harvest season in Adam's story is literally the perfect metaphor for the end of childhood. The seasons inevitably change, the harvests end, and our children grow up. It's an unstoppable force. But knowing that the time is finite is exactly what makes it so incredibly valuable. So look at your own life. Look at the people you love. Which brief moments will you choose to truly, mindfully cherish before your current season ends?